So lesson one. Lesson one is going to combine three different movements. We're going to combine a crawl with something called a Frankenstein walk, and we're going to use some squats with this. So we're going to do three different movements. This lesson should be performed at least twice a week. You can probably do this every day though if you only do it for a few minutes a day. Make sure that you've completed the warm-up video before you get into this. So if you haven't done that, stop this video here, go to the warm-up video, do that, and then you can do this one, okay? So the way this is gonna work at first, this is gonna just get back into the routine of having a movement practice that you're doing, and also just getting used to getting into a routine of doing something hopefully every day if you haven't been doing that. You will need really nothing. I have some cones here, but you can easily use a shoe or a sock or something like that, and that's simply so you can have some lines of demarcation as to where you're going to do your crawling and your Frankenstein walking. So let's do the crawl first. I'm gonna get my two cones, and if you don't have cones, once again, you can easily use anything that you have around your house. I want you to put each one of these about 20 to 30 steps apart. So I'm just gonna put it here so I can stay in the shot, this one. And we'll go right there. So the first thing you're gonna do is a crawl. Bunch of different ways that you can crawl. Crawling is great because it makes you really, really strong, and it helps to coordinate you because you're having to use, if you do it right, you're having to use one side of your body while you're using the other side of your body in the lower part. So when you crawl, you're supposed to step with your right hand and your left knee and then switch like that. Unless you're a giraffe. Giraffes don't do that, but human beings, that's how we're going to crawl. Right hand goes when the left knee goes. You can crawl on your knees, you can crawl on your feet. Generally speaking, the fewer points of contact that you have. So if you're just on your feet instead of your hands and your knees and your feet, if you're just on your feet, it's gonna be harder. The other thing that you wanna be aware of is that you wanna try as best you can to keep your back flat, to not have your behind way up or have your back rounded. You wanna have it as flat as possible when you're crawling. So the first move that you're gonna do is gonna be the crawl. And so if you're gonna crawl on your hands and knees, if you don't feel quite strong enough just to go up to your toes, you'll be here, your head is going to be up, and you're gonna step with your left hand, right knee, then the right hand, left knee. And you'll crawl just like this, crawling, crawling. Once you get to your cone, you can either go backwards, or you can turn around and go forward again if that's a little challenging for you. If this is too easy, I want you to take your knees off the floor. That's gonna make it harder. So we'll get up here, knees off the floor, back is flat, here. Just like so. Crawl, and then we'll go backwards. That's movement one. So you'll do that with your cones about 20 to 30 steps apart, or your socks or your shoes, whatever your marks are. You're gonna go there and back one time. The next one you're gonna do is a squat. So when you're squatting, a couple of things that you wanna be aware of. I want you to do the best you can to keep your feet completely flat on the floor. So in other words, your heels are down. I don't want you to come up on your toes like that right now. What you're going to do is you're going to sit back. So you're going to take your hips and you're going to move them back as you go down into the squat position, and then you'll move them forward. If you need a cue on that, what you can do is you can take a chair. And also, if this is a little bit hard, you can start with a chair. And you can go into the chair and sit down and stand back up. Or you can not quite sit down. You can go into the chair, touch, and come back up. Either way is fine. If you're okay with it, you don't really need the chair anymore. So once again, from the front, sitting back, your hands can come up as they need to. You're going to sit back and come right back up. Your eyes are looking straight ahead. Sitting back, feet flat, hands up, coming back up. You're going to do 10 of those. So it's a crawl, there and back, 10 of those. The final movement for this lesson is a Frankenstein walk. So this right here is strength, mobility, all that good stuff. Remember how we're talking about using the opposite sides of our body as we walk and we run? So that goes into effect here. You're going to take your left leg, keep it as straight as possible, and you're going to take your right hand and you'll touch your toe, place it down. Not a thud, a place. Then touch and put it down. Touch and put it down. Touch and put it down. You'll either turn around and continue that, going back, or if you're frisky, you're going to go backwards, just like that. Okay? If you can't touch your toe, no problem. Touch what you can. Maybe it's your thigh. Maybe it's your knee. Maybe you can't go that high. Maybe you just need to do this. That's okay. But the idea on the Frankenstein walk is to make it controlled, is not to do something that makes a lot of noise. You want to be really super quiet with it, and then you know you're controlling it, okay? So you're going to take these three things, the crawl, the squat, and the Frankenstein walk. I want you to set a timer for either 5, 10, or 15 minutes, and you will continuously do those things for either 5, 10, or 15 minutes. You choose. One day maybe you do it for 5 minutes. The other day maybe you do it for 15 minutes. You can even stop your work sometimes during the day. If you need a break to get up and do part of the warm-up or do one little lap of that. Do a crawl, do some squats, do a Frankenstein walk. Go back to your math. Go back to your reading, whatever you're doing that day. So that's a possibility as well. This is training session number 1. Please let me know if you have any questions. Email, have your parents email me. Either way is great. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you next time. Stay strong.